Pavilion. Hey, do you think Ganyu... Guess we have no idea if Shenhe and Ganyu have ever seen her in this form before. Wait, where did she go? Why are you just standing there, Cloud Retainer?
Quietly now. One shall stay here. You two can go and meet with her.
But why? Isn't it better if we all go together?
If one were to proudly proclaim one's presence, Ganyu would surely profess herself otherwise unoccupied and drop everything to attend to one's visit. One does not wish to trouble her. Conversing vicariously via you two shall suffice. Do remember to inquire as to her recent well-being. Again—
Fair enough. Makes sense.
Cloud Retainer?
Oh, busted.
Is that lady someone you know, Miss Ganyu?
She is indeed. I'm sorry, Huixin, but could we delay the upcoming meeting for a little bit? I believe my schedule today is quite full. Although, perhaps I could move some work to later in the evening.
Oh, not to worry, Miss Ganyu. I'll make the necessary arrangements right away.
Thank you, Huixin.
It's been a while, Ganyu.
Greetings. What brings you here today? And Cloud Retainer, too. It's been quite some time since I last saw you in this form.
You are quite mistaken. One is not acquainted with this Cloud Retainer of whom you speak. One is simply a mere mortal passerby.
Huh?
Seems she's not buying it.
That was but a simple test. One did not expect you to be able to recognize one so easily, especially after so many years of only seeing one's other form.
But recognizing you is, my responsibility as your disciple.
An apt observation. One was simply passing by while attending to some important business. One thought it would only be fitting to pay you a visit while in the area.
Wait, Paimon wasn't aware of any important... Oh, Cloud Retainer's right. We've still got something super important to do, so we can't stay here for too long today.
Oh, is that so? But it's been so long since we last saw each other.
One simply desired to see you and had no intention of interrupting your work. A quick conversation.
I understand. That should be fine.
While one acknowledges the amount of work that you have to deal with every day, one must also remind you to rest. Though Adepti blood flows through your veins, excessive exhaustion will still cause grave harm to your body. It still makes one nostalgic to see you as you are now, respected and independent. When you were young, you oft begged one to cuddle you to sleep when you suffered from nightmares.
Cloud Retainer! Stop!
If you insist. We are running short on time regardless, so one will refrain from going into each and every story.
Wow, you've been to so many new places since the last time we spoke. If you ever need anything, please just come find me at Uehai Pavilion. Also, forgive me for my presumptuousness, Cloud Retainer.
A human name? Huh. You raise a valid point. Considering the sheer extent of one's renown, Cloud Retainer is surely too recognizable as a name.
You really think so? Not that you're not famous or anything, but that famous?
You presume to know the extent of one's illustrious achievements. One would hardly think such a thing to be possible.
Can you?
I assume that's a reference to the full record of Pristine Pavilion. An adeptus of years past would rise with the clouds and rest with the moon. They were enlightened and wise, free and unfettered.
Oh, that sounds super cool! Paimon feels like only the most powerful of Adepti could rise with the clouds and rest with the moon.
Actually, those lines were originally written to describe Cloud Retainer herself.
Huh? Wait, so you're really that powerful?
And what of it? Did you truly take one to be nothing more than a bird of bigger than average size?
Not exactly.
To be fair, Cloud Retainer rarely speaks of her past accomplishments. The tales of her past can only be found in ancient texts. It is said that once, a long, long time ago, there was a severe drought in Liyue. Left with no choice, many people left their homes, while others spent day and night praying to the Adepti. Although I did not live through such tragedy, simply reading about it is enough to gain a visceral understanding of all the pain and desperation during that time. On top of the drought, a noxious gas also began to spread through the land. If not for Cloud Retainer's efforts, much of Liyue would be nothing more than a barren wasteland today. The books had this to say about what happened. Upon arrival, the Adeptus borrowed the wind to retain the clouds. Immediately, the clouds gathered together.
Wow. That's incredible!
Mortal records add embellishments to dramatize past events.
Even so, you stopped an entire drought! Oh, Paimon suddenly has a lot more respect for you.
How laughable. A name is but a simple label we carry with us on our journey through the
That's a relief.
Well, that is quite enough ancient history for now. Ganyu, have you had word from Shenhe? One has heard that she procured a job recently. Have you any thoughts on her workplace? Moreover, does she find herself overly inundated with work?
That is a lot of questions.
There is no cause for concern, Cloud Retainer. I introduced Shenhe to her employer personally. Wanmin Restaurant's business has been booming recently.
I see. Most excellent indeed. Now, it is almost time to partake in the victuals of noon.
Huh? But didn't you just say that you had something important to do?
Can that wait until after we've eaten?
You may return to your work, Ganyu.
Of course, Cloud Retainer. Please take care. Traveler, Paimon, I'll see you.
See you around, Ganyu! Whew. Paimon was pretty quick on the uptake there, don't you? As soon as you mentioned important business to it.
You get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, how can I not? Not even fine food is enough to distract from the presence of a fine lady.
Oh, I'm far more interested in getting her details than ordering any dishes. Hey, how about you ask her?
You do it.
No. I think you should. Wait, she's coming.
What can I get for you today?
Greetings, miss. I was just wondering if you'd be willing to...
What would you like to order?
2 servings of Mora meat to go.
Shenhe!
Welcome. It's been a while. May I take your order?
Don't welcome us as guests and greet us as old friends in the same line. It's weird.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and this is?
This is Miss Xinyun.
Master?
One does not recall ever revealing this form to you before. How were you able to ascertain one's true identity with such ease?
I've trained and lived with Master for more than 10 years. I would recognize you no matter what form you take.
You...
Is something the matter, Master?
Hardly. One simply learned of your
And check out the great food, too!
Indeed. It's almost lunchtime. My apologies.
Well, if it isn't the Traveler in Paimon. Are you here for Shenhe? The lunch rush isn't in yet, Shenhe. So, I've got things covered for now. Go ahead, sit down and enjoy some time with your friends. I'll let you know if things pick up.
Thank you, Chef.
It is just as one. Still, the work here entails dealing with quite a varied group of people. Has this been difficult for you, Shenhe?
It's been manageable so far. I sometimes run into strange people.
Seems like you've been making progress. So by dealing...
First, I try to talk sense into them. If that doesn't work, I threaten them with violence.
Oh, how should Paimon put this?
Oh, a sensible plan. One is gladdened to...
And you, Master? How have you been?
Simply marvelous. Though Mount Outsong has scarcely enjoyed your presence recently, one has hardly found the pleasure of one's own...
I see. Huh. I have missed Master... Oh.
Whoa. Her mood...
By the way, Master...
Indeed. She is similarly preoccupied with her...
Ganyu told us the story of Cloud Retainer's name. It was amazing. We never knew how...
I see. In that case, allow me to also share a story about Master's past.
Oh?
Is that a problem, Master? I believe this to be a good topic of conversation.
No, not a problem. One was simply caught off guard. But no matter. Please, proceed. One is most curious to see how much of one's own conversational prowess you possess.
Master once participated in a race against Mooncarver. After Mooncarver lost, he insisted that in response, Master agreed to forego flying in return for being
Huh. What kind of device was it?
It was a mechanical vehicle made out of iron. What was it called again?
Oh, you refer to the bicyclical Thunder Flashmobile. One spent 49 days conceptualizing. Oh, it boggles the mind why Mooncarver ever supposed he might best me in a contest of locomotion. Alas, the one flaw of my mechanism lay in its weakness against mountainous terrain. One was thwarted mere seconds from victory, when it was thrown off course and failed to make it across the final stretch. Truly a most...
Master, that was the end of that story.
Is that so? Huh. With you gone, what...
Have you been lonely, Master?
Lonely? Huh. At one's age, entire human generation is a most foreign sentiment. What is the reason for that look upon your face?
It's nothing. It's just... Well, Paimon gained a lot of respect for you after listening to that story of you I was just a little bit confused. Which one?
To me, they are both, Master. One is the Master that's widely revered by the people.
Huh. One finds oneself exalted yet again with sweet words of praise and flattery of a most extravagant nature. You chose to exalt one with your words, yet you refuse. This is not to say that your words paint an inaccurate picture. One has always lived by...
She got like, what, 2 sentences of...
Do you have any empty tables?
Hey there, could we get another fish?
I'm hearing more guests come in. I should get back to work.
All right, good luck with the lunch.
I'll try my best.
So much yummy food! Paimon's gonna feast!
One is fond of all kinds of delicacies. The dishes here demonstrate no
Everything's so tasty. A bit too hot at times, but still super.
I'm sorry, miss, but our tables are full.
Shall we try somewhere else? But it smells so delightful.
Well, you could always check with some of the.
Okay, Excuse me. Would you mind letting us share a table with you? There are no empty tables.
Ah, well, Paimon doesn't mind. What about you guys?
Great! Thanks so much. My name is Shuyu, and this is my granny, Yuendai.
Granny?
Yep. Is there something wrong with that?
No, Paimon's just a bit surprised.
Yeah. A lot of people compliment Granny on her youthful looks, but she's actually much older than she appears. Granny, why don't you take a seat? Come on, it's not polite to stare.
Huh. Have we met before?
No.
Tis a fated meeting, then. Please, take a seat.
What would you like to eat, Granny? I can order for you.
I want braised earthworms.
No, not this again. Granny, there's no
Braised earthworms? Well, that sounds weird. Do people actually eat that? Right, that's what Paimon was thinking too. Need any help?
help. Oh, do you mean with Granny? Thanks, that's nice of you to offer. Granny has pretty bad dementia, so actually, her memory's been bad ever since I was little. But it's gotten so bad. They died young. It's just me and Granny now.
Oh,
But it's okay. Don't feel bad. Granny loves me a lot, and
wow. You're really tough for your age, kid.
You're too kind.
And me? Oh, what about me?
You're tough too, Granny. Plus you're...
Yes, and it's hardly as if I forget everything. I still remember the important things. I remember now. It was a dream.
Huh? That sounds super important. But how come you've never told me about it before?
It was just a dream, so,
Wait, so you have a reoccurring dream where someone's talking to you? That sounds spooky. Does that mean you're possessed?
Unlikely. Her eyes are clear and her breathing.
Are you sure?
Who do you take me for? Is one not an adept? Am I not an expert?
You're right. Paimon almost forgot you're the expert.
not anymore. Although, I have a set...
A younger version of Granny?
This is just getting weirder and weirder. What is going on here?
As one said, fate.
Are you sure? So...
Paimon's Paimon.
Just Shenyun is fine.
Thank you all so much for offering to help. But...
Oh, we don't need any payment for this. You're welcome. But Miss Shenyun, what exactly can we do to help out this granny? All we have to go off is that dream. Where do we start?
That is elementary. Since her dreams portray her younger self, then we shall retrace the steps of her youth. Once we have revisited those places...
Sounds like a plan. So, Granny, do you remember...
Why, of course I do. The heavens above.
Okay, taking that as a no. I might have an idea. Once, when I was really little, my dad told me that Granny used to be a... If it's true, then maybe they wrote about it in the... A martial arts heroine? Oh, Shincho knows tons about Liyue.
Are you leaving already? But I'm still hungry.
I'll go order some food, Granny. If there's...
It seems we must part ways for now. The Traveler and Paimon are bound for the Feiyun Commerce Guild, while Yuendai and Shuyu shall remain here and partake of their lunch. As for myself, I have matters to discuss with Street
Word Rambler? Oh, you mean Madam...
Precisely. Let us meet at Yujing Terrace once you are ready.
Always wanted to try this place.
It's you two. What brings you here?
Shincho! Great, we found you!
That I can't pinpoint her identity.
Nameless...
That's right. The novels often speak of a great drought from All they knew was that she always acted after the drought ended. The way this name...
Thanks a lot, Shincho.
It's nothing at all.
Well, Paimon still thinks that
Let me think. Perhaps the real-life heroine who inspired the... It's rare for a chivalric hero to... I've never understood why...
We'll be sure to tell you if we manage...
That's a deal.
Paimon feels like we just learned so much... Oh, right! There's a drought in this story, too!
Well, they used to be. So while droughts do happen from time, the crops withered.
That sounds...
Yeah. And still, as they say that back in those days, disasters were both more severe and more common. Do you have any other questions?
We're good for now. We're just going to head back and meet up with Miss Yen. Paimon hopes that Granny Yuan... Anyway, we'll be off now. See you some other time,
It's no problem at all.
I have recorded the tune that you requested. I hope it will be of help to you.
Oh, thank you. Straightward, Ping, what has amused you so?
Oh, it's no serious matter. I was just reminiscing about the last time I saw you in this form. Time has wrought such change in this world, and yet you appear just the same as ever.
Time has little bearing on one's existence, nor has one keenly felt its effects whilst dwelling at Mount Outsong.
Oh, why so formal all of a sudden? I must say, you're making me a little nervous.
Well, the inquiry is as such. Approximately how much mora would one need to afford a comfortable life?
It does not require as much as you may think.
Cloud Retainer, Madam Ping! What are you two talking about?
Nothing save for some trivial matters.
Shincho has a theory, but let's save it for when Chuyu and Miss Yundai have joined up with us again.
Do not be troubled, young lady. Here, have some tea.
What do you think, Chuyu? Does it match up with what you know? According to the story, the nameless heroine eventually fell in love with an exorcist from Mount Tianheng. I don't have many memories of him, but there was this one time I found a box in her attic full of a bunch of weird sigils. I think so too. Granny might remember something once she's returned to a familiar place.
What marvelous tea. I can taste the dews. It's as if I was taking a stroll in the mountains, thoroughly one with nature.
Is that so? then please drink as much as you like. There's...
Thank you. Okay, since we have the time, can I ask you something? Sure thing. What would... I have a secret I want to tell you. Let's go talk... What's wrong, Shiri? Well, I've been kind of meaning to... Oh! About that. Well, you guys just seem... Must have been a slip of the tongue.
One is indeed an Adeptus. Is that of some concern to you?
Huh? I knew it. Well, one time when I was a little kid, I saw a pure white illuminated crane. I had this super high fever, and Granny wasn't around. I was feeling all icky and gross. But then this snowy white crane flew down from the sky. She put me on her back and flew me to her cool Adeptus house. I really wanted to thank her, but I was too sleepy to stay awake, so I never got the chance. So I just kind of wanted to ask if maybe any of you have ever met an Adeptus like that? A pure white illuminated crane? Have you ever met one that's pure white, Cloud Retainer?
Never has one met an Adeptus with such features. One surmises such a description is but a hyperbolic embellishment that oft results from narrative account.
That's weird. Was it really just a dream then? Well, even if it was just in my head, it doesn't matter that much anyway. All I really want is to help Granny recover her memories. I'm really grateful for all your help. Leave it to us! Now that we know the 3 locations, we just need to visit them one, but let's go to Wangshu Inn first! Okay, I'll go get Granny. Wangshu. Do you remember this place, Granny?
Yes. The fish here is very delicious. And if you look out into the distance, you can always spot a bird that's been left behind by its flock. I believe
I'll come with. I'm still having some trouble understanding what she's talking about, but... Whoa! Shell! What are you doing here all of a sudden? You scared the living daylights out of Paimon!
I sensed a non-human presence and decided to come take a look. If you're here, then there's likely no trouble afoot. I suppose there's no cause for concern. It's been a while, Cloud Retainer. I see you have returned to your previous form. I have indeed. I fought alongside her in this form on many occasions during the Archon War.
Oh, wow! What was she like during the war? Oh, wait, let Paimon take a guess. Was it anything like this?
Behold, the glory of one's newest invention, the Bang Bang Continuous Fire Mechanism. Hands up and surrender, or be prepared to face the full might of the Adepti.
An impressive imitation.
Paimon knows her all too well.
Even so, Cloud Retainer was not always as ostentatious as you describe. You may be unaware, but her talent with Adepti sigils is just as formidable as her skill in mechanics. The Archon War reached its peak after Guizhong's death. The Cloud Retainer who fought beside me in those devastating battles was taciturn and solemn, only speaking when she had to activate her sigils.
A Cloud Retainer who barely talks? Paimon can't picture it. But what happened after that? If you were so powerful in your human form, why did you decide to take up your bird form again?
Once one had bid farewell to the world of mortals, what use would one still have for such a shape? When dwelling between mountain and forest, away from the struggles and troubles of the mortal world, a mortal form is hardly the most fitting of choices.
After the war, Cloud Retainer retired to Mount Outsong, only revealing herself to the occasional visitor, and always in her avian form. Although I do believe there was an occasion some 30-odd years ago, when she decided to don her human form. I believe it was for the purpose of
One believes there is little need to relive bygone matters.
Granny, are you okay? Back then, at this place,
Perhaps this conversation should end here. I shall take my leave now. Should you encounter any trouble, you need only call my name. However, given that you are traveling with Cloud Retainer, I trust you are in good hands.
Everyone! I think Granny is finally beginning to remember her past.
Slowly now, calm your mind and recount what has been recalled.
A long time ago, I stayed here to recuperate from my illness.
Huh. So what Shinjo said was true!
I don't remember. I'm very sorry, but I was confined to my room in Wangshu Inn. One day, I met a traveling merchant. Upon hearing of my illness, he sold me a bottle. He told me that the pills were concocted using Adepti blood and could be used to alleviate my symptoms. Sure enough...
Wait, but if your illness remained dormant for several decades, are you saying that what you're going through now is just a relapse of what happened all those years ago? And it was all thanks to the pills that you managed to keep the symptoms in check?
I'm sorry, I don't.
Hey, you're not useless. You've done so much for me.
Oh, fret not, dear child. Granny was just a bit frustrated.
The recovery of a person's memories is a gradual process.
Next location. Next location. Oh, why don't we go to the area north of... There isn't really a landmark there, so where should we start? Oh, after all, if she was there for any length of time, then she would have stayed somewhere, right?
Let me think. I feel like... But I don't think I stayed here.
Got it.
Wait a second. If I remember correct... Go on, take some. You need to eat a lot if you want to grow big and strong.
Oh, thank you! Then Paimon will help herself. Paimon sees an abandoned house! Why don't we take a break over there?
This place...
Did you remember something, Granny?
I remember. It was a moonless night. I had been injured, so your grandpa was supporting me. We fled together with some being in the fog behind us in hot. I had exhausted my strength when I remember that night. I alone am the source of this sin.
Sin? Oath? Did you do something?
I don't know. I don't remember. I only remember praying in the darkness with all my strength. Eventually, the house was filled with the sound of my baby's first cries.
My dad?
He was my pride and joy. And so are you, Shuyu. But you're always going to be different from me.
I don't care what you might have done, Granny.
You're too sweet, Shuyu. All right. Let's not stand around any longer.
If one recalls correctly, the next
I may be a bit slow, but I'll do my best to keep up. I'm sorry to keep everyone waiting.
Climb on. I shall carry you to the top. Oh, such lightness of weight.
Although...
We're finally here. Does this place feel familiar to you, Granny Window?
Let me see... How strange. Have I... When we were at Wangshu Inn and the abandoned house earlier, though I couldn't remember everything, I still felt a sense of familiarity. But here, I don't have that feeling. Perhaps I did come here in the past, but it just didn't leave a strong impression.
But did the stories get it wrong then? Yeah, that's true. But Paimon was hoping this place would jog Granny.
I'm sorry to disappoint you too.
It's all right. We're not going to give up yet.
Well, thank you. If... Huh? That way. What's that mountain?
Oh, let Paimon look! Huh? Isn't that Mount Outsang? Looks like we've come full circle.
Mount Outsang. Mount Outsang.
Granny, are you okay? Don't push yourself, Granny. It's okay if you can't remember. You shouldn't...
Mount Outsang,
Mount Outsang holds some familiarity to you?
It does, but I can't go back.
Are you feeling unwell?
My head... It feels all heavy and dizzy. What is...
Cloud... Miss Xianyun, is there anything you can do?
Let us go to Mount Outsang.
But...
Fret not. All will be well. You and I, you have already given more than enough to the pursuit of this endeavor. You may leave the rest to me.
Wait, really? What?
I never leave anything to chance. Here, this is it.
Huh? But isn't this the mechanism that you were tinkering with when we first got here?
Precisely. A recent one at that. I am most pleased with the result. I call it the Suspensus Somnium mechanism. It periodically releases a soft breeze, which when paired with a gentle adeptal tune, can help the listener subconsciously relax and even enter a semi-hypnotic state, soothing agitation and anxiety.
Whoa, what a cool get! We could have come to Mount Outsang right off the bat and saved time on a lot of floating!
How preposterous. Had you and I not, we Adepti can only help those who first resolve to help themselves.
Paimon thinks she gets it now. Hey, what's that other thing?
As previously mentioned, a gentle adeptal tune is required to take full advantage of the mechanism.
Oh, Paimon can feel what you mean. Paimon's body feels light as a feather.
And you and I. Is the mechanism helping you to relax? It appears she has already succumbed to the depths of reverie.
The drought is over. But why do you look like you want to cry?
The potion. It's nearly run its course.
I've never regretted meeting you. Not even for a second.
Please. Please, no. Have you forgotten? This is the world you left behind. One of gentle breeze and this is your home. This is where you belong. You should have never left.
So that is the truth. No wonder this place is so familiar.
Granny! Granny, are you okay?
Cloud Retainer.
Your memories have returned.
Wait, did you just call her by her full name? You already knew each other?
Yes. I now remember everything. Granny, please don't cry. Oh, don't worry, my dear child. I'm so sorry, everyone. It's all come back to me now. The most important thing that I...
One can sense the guilt that now plagues your conscience.
No, it's okay. Now that I've remembered, I must show you... Everyone, I cannot thank you enough for all your...
Please, Granny, don't force yourself.
What I know, dear child, some time ago...
Is this the sin that you mentioned in...
I am, in truth, not a human being. My real form, one that I held for centuries, was that of a wild crane. I spent many, many years living on Mount Outsong, bathing in the soft breeze and drinking the sweet dew of the mountains. At some point, I somehow gained wisdom and sentience. The Lord of the Mountain, Cloud Retainer, became aware of my existence and began to share many stories with me. She even passed on the secret of cultivation to me. Though she never took me on as a formal disciple, I always saw her as my master. Whenever she took out her tools to work on mechanisms or new inventions, I would also stand next to her and watch. I even contemplated completing my training and becoming an adeptus in my own right. I followed her teachings, and time gradually passed us by. Until that fateful day.
50 years ago?
That's right. Master regaled me with many stories of her past deeds. She was the one I looked up to the most. More than anything, I dreamt of becoming an adeptus like her, but I was still far from being a real adeptus. I possessed no ability to take on human form and fit in with the crowd. She warned me that the potion's effects would only last 10 years, and if I were to fail to return to my original form at the end of that time, I would forever forget my past as a crane and become something neither human, beast, nor adeptus.
Oh no. So that was the source of your Was it because of...
Indeed. I fell in love. Though he was human, he had spent his entire life training on Mount Tianheng. When we met, it was not only my first foray into the world below, but although clumsy and impulsive as he was, you'd think he was the real strange bird among the two of us. But still, just like me, he cared deeply about the world and wanted, more than anything, to cleanse it of all pain and suffering. I could not help but fall for him. But my time continued to tick away. Those 10 years passed by in a flash. Yet I did not want to leave his side.
Oh no, what happened next?
I committed an offense. I wanted to stay with him, even if it meant living a life full of pain and suffering, even if it meant that I would eventually turn into a monstrosity. I knew I had betrayed Master's hopes, but I was too ashamed to face her. I was convinced that she would not support my decision, and I lacked the courage to speak to her face to face. But that was only the beginning of my troubles. I began to suffer from a strange illness. My memories became hazy and confused, and I could no longer keep myself awake. Along with my memories as a crane, looking back, I was beyond lucky to have come across that traveling merchant at Wangshu Inn. It was such a fortunate coincidence. Granny! What's wrong? Coincidence? Why did I ever think it was a coincidence, Master? Don't tell me. Back then...
Human custom would dictate the conferral of gifts to be in order when one's progeny is wedded.
So when I tried to conceal my name and mistakes from the world and hide myself away...
One still remembers when you were but a fledgling. You possessed a certain fondness for a particular game. You would hide yourself among a group of wild cranes and ask what one found you with such ease every time.
Wait! Paimon's confused! So, Cloud Retainer, you found Yuendai again?
Perhaps it is now time for one to recount the rest. One was furious upon receiving your letter. Seized with anger, one set out to bring you to your senses. In truth, one had more than a few misgivings about your chosen partner. But soon, one came to appreciate the devotion he bestowed upon you, unwilling to begrudge someone of such character, wishing to grant you a life without regrets. As for how to deliver the medicine, after much contemplation, one took great care to alter one's features and select the appropriate attire. As one expected, you were most ignorant of one's true identity. One was quite torn. Should one have celebrated the success of one's disguise? Stray clouds converge! Those monsters would hardly have pursued you with such ferocity. One was, after all, an active part. In the end, want to see you happy. Now you should have a complete understanding of the events.
Wait, but if that's true, then the crane who took care of me when I was sick must also be...
Ah, one had almost neglected to recount the absurdities of that tale. Just as you end, upon finding you burnt, when one asked you why, one had no choice but to apply powder to one's body It bears mentioning, however, perhaps fate brought you to. Now all has been revealed. One owes you an apology, Yuandai. One has always viewed you as a disciple of equal standing with. Still, one could not reveal your identity right away. Memories are most meaningful when recalled by those who live through them.
Master, I must ask. If you found me all those years ago, why did you leave me be?
One has never regarded your action as a mistake. When it is time for one's progeny to leave the nest, tis a refuge referred to by many a name in mortal writing. One speaks, of course, of a place not unlike one's own abode. You and I. One expects you too have sensed the rapid deterioration of your. 40 years ago, you chose a path without a future. Even the power of an Adeptus has its limits. Fortunately, you were able to avoid that scenario by reclaiming your memories.
So, what's gonna happen to Granny?
One will help her reclaim her original form as a wild crane.
She's gotta go back to being a regular crane, huh?
Master, you've already done more than enough for me. I don't know how I could possibly repay your kindness. This is a better result than I could have ever hoped for.
Not long.
Granny, please don't leave, okay?
Don't be sad, dear child. Granny has led a wonderful life. Don't forget to eat well, okay? A growing young lady like yourself needs lots of good food to grow big and strong.
I promise, Granny.
Good girl. Good girl. I won't stop until I can turn into a human without having to rely on anything.
Good.
That's a good girl. Even though we won't see each other for a little while.
I'll eat well, Granny. I promise. And I'll wait for you, no matter how long it takes.
That's a good girl. Then I'm so sorry, Master.
Yu.
Let her be. At her age, crying is a natural. Tears are a necessary part of maturation. Now that the issue has been resolved, you should also take a moment to relax.
I always believed we would see each other again. that our days of separation would finally end, and all my troubles would be behind me. If only things could stay this way forever.
A nightmare? Curious. If you're relaxed, shouldn't your dreams be pleasant?
It was a good dream. It's just...
You weren't ready to wake up. Eloquent as one may be, words of comfort are not one's strong suit. You are doing all you can. One can see your strength of will, your fearlessness in the face of danger. And so, whatever your dream may be, one believes that you shall achieve it. Of course, whenever the perils you face overwhelm you, or you become weary, one is always here for you. After all, as an elder, it is only right to look out for the young ones.
Grilled chicken drumsticks. Huh? Was Paimon sleeping just now? Oh, Paimon wasn't talking to you. Paimon had a dream about eating grilled chicken drumsticks, that's all.
Madam Adeptus?
Oh, Shuyu, you're awake.
I feel a little better. Madam Adeptus, could I,
Oh. And have you reasons for this sudden interest?
I know Granny thought what she did back then was wrong. She felt really bad about it, but without that mistake, I would have never been born. Even though Granny lost her memories, she never forgot to show me how much she loved me. I could become a cool Adeptus like you, and help a whole bunch of people, just like Granny wanted to do.
Upon some reflection, one supposes you are no mere mortal. The fact that Yuendai's blood flows through your veins is proof enough of that. If this is what you desire, one shall make it so.
Thank you so much, Madam Adeptus. No, I mean... Master.
Shuyu, are you sure about this? Paimon's gonna let you in on a little secret. We've seen Cloud Retainer's 2 other disciples, and they pretty much eat nothing but bitter herbs like Chinchin and violet grass. If you join them, you'll never enjoy One-Min Restaurant's delicious cooking ever again.
How utterly preposterous. One has never enforced such a rule. Every individual must find their own path to enlightenment. So long as one retains a pureness of spirit, one's dietary proclivities are quite irrelevant.
Well, you say that, but Paimon's not seeing any tasty treats up here now, is she?
Although Mount Outsong is rich in natural beauty, its location does preclude access to certain finer mortal comforts. That is precisely why one plans to relocate to Liyue Harbor. Shuyu shall have the honor of becoming one's first disciple in the human world.
Whoa! You're leaving Mount Outsong?
One has never concerned oneself with the location of one's residence. From the very beginning, one has sought only solace and peace. Yet in the end, all of one's disciples ended up in Liyue Harbor. Ganyu, Shenhe, Yuendai, they all chose a life among the mortal world. One has reflected on this fact for many years now. One can only assume that it is due to some failing on one's part as an elder or master. A failing, perhaps, of recognizing what it was they truly wanted. One is most curious as to what aspect of Liyue Harbor could have enticed them to remain there. One could hardly offer an opinion on the matter, but perhaps some time in the harbor will prove instructive. Why are you all so silent?
Paimon is, just a bit shocked, that's all. So, does this mean we can grab a meal together in Liyue Harbor sometime?
One has precious little time to squander. One will be assuming the identity of a human while residing in Liyue Harbor.
Don't worry, we'll help you keep it a secret. So, when can we expect to start seeing you in the city?
Perhaps in 2 days' time. One has some matters to see to before one's departure. One has already picked out a handsome property near Chuhu Rock.
Seems like you've really thought of everything. Then how about we meet up in Liyue Harbor in 2 days?
A sensible plan. See you then. Oh, also, why don't you take this suspensus somnium mechanism as a souvenir? Anytime you should feel ill at ease in the future, you may try quieting your mind and sitting in meditation.
Awesome! Thanks, Cloud Retainer! Hey, didn't we promise Shincho that we'd tell him what we found out?
Your concerns are excessive.
To be quite up, in what way are any of these ordinary? I have to be careful. Yes.
We're here, Cloud. Miss Shenyan, what are you guys arguing about?
Ah, perfect timing. This ignoramus is questioning the authenticity of my wares. I'll have you know, these items have remained untouched in my personal collection for several hundred years. To question their legitimacy is pure folly.
Several 100 years?
Indeed. They're family heirlooms, you see, passed down over many generations, as families are wont to do.
Yep, they've definitely been around a while. We can vouch for her on that one.
Hear that? Had I not found myself in need of Mora, I would scarcely have had the heart to part with them. Indeed, you should consider it an honor to even have the opportunity to behold them with your own eyes. Doubt their authenticity any further, and I may just decide to take them to another buyer.
Whoa! Please don't go! I apologize for any insult, miss. You see, I know full well that I lack the knowledge to judge the true worth of these items. If you could wait but a moment, I've hired an expert to appraise them for me. He should be here shortly.
An expert, you say? Very well. I will wait for a little while longer, then. Traveler, Paimon, this is my new residence. If you have cause to seek my company in the future, this is where you can find me.
Master! Oh, it's you two again.
Shiryu! You got a new outfit! It looks great!
Mm-hmm. Master made it for me. I like it too.
Huh? You know how to make clothes?
Do I know how to make clothes? With the support of the proper mechanism, sewing is hardly a challenge.
Master, I brought in most of my stuff. There's a few boxes left, but they're kind of heavy, so I just left them outside.
Fret not. I shall help you move them into your room.
Actually, I should probably sort through my stuff a bit first. Everything's kind of messy right now, so maybe you could, not look yet, Master?
It appears my young apprentice has her own... Now, this expert you mentioned, when can we expect their arrival?
Soon. Here, allow me to make some introductions. This is Mr. Zhang Li, a well-respected consultant at Wangshang Funeral Parlor and an expert in all manner of valuables and antiques. Mr. Zhang Li, this is Miss Shen Yun. She's the one who's looking to sell the collection of valuables I mentioned earlier.
If it isn't Miss Shenyun. It has been quite some time since our last meeting. What a
Indeed, most serendipitous. Have you been faring well as of late, Mr. Zhang Li?
Quite well, thank you. I was fortunate enough over the past few days to enjoy both a stroll in the mountains and a fresh brew of tea from the most recent harvest. The experiences left me with such insight and peace.
Huh. So you two are already acquainted?
Indeed. How fortunate we are that fate has brought us together again. If you are otherwise unaware, allow me to inform you that Miss Shenyun is a well-regarded collector and appraiser. She is well-versed in all fields, and oft-celebrated for her impeccable taste. You stand to gain much from this opportunity.
You are too kind, Mr. Zhongli. True collectors pride themselves on their wealth of knowledge and eye for detail. I can say without a doubt that you are foremost in that regard.
Why, you flatter me, Miss Shenyun. It would seem that you are as self-effacing as ever.
Not at all, Mr. Zhongli. Not at all.
While I am loath to butt into this conversation, I must ask, you two already knew each other, and you seem to have quite a cordial relation.
Ha! A preposterous accusation! The heavens themselves would collapse before we would conspire to do such a thing.
Miss Shenyun speaks the truth. Contracts are built on honesty and trust. If that proves to be beyond your capabilities in this instance, this transaction may be taken elsewhere.
Say no more. Let us depart.
I jest! What fool would still harbor doubts after Mr. Zhongli himself has vouched for the goods? Miss Shenyun, wait! I deeply apologize for doubting you. So, Mr. Zhongli, could you please give me a final verdict on the value of these items?
There is no cause for concern. They are indeed rare and precious valuables. Take this mechanism, for instance. Though one may not immediately perceive its purpose, its structure and appearance are exquisite enough to merit it a place in any fine home. The same can be said for this one here. Few could hope to possess an item that so perfectly blends mechanical wonder with geometric grace. I am sure you have heard from your travels that the study of mechanisms is among the most wondrous arts in this world. With that in mind, I earnestly recommend procuring every last item in this collection.
All right. Since I hired you as my consultant, Mr. Zhongli, I shall, of course, trust your good opinion. Then, in that case, Miss Shenyun, I'll take the lot. However, since the final sum is quite large, how about we start with an initial deposit through the Northland Bank?
The Northland Bank? Huh. Oh, you refer to the fiduciary house.
I fear people only use the term bank nowadays. In that case, I'll be off for now. I'll return to collect the goods once you've received the funds.
Zhongli!
My friends, have you been doing well?
We've been great! How about you? Paimon didn't know you were such a busy consultant!
My days have been quite pleasant as well. I had been quietly enjoying a cup of tea when Mr. Xiaozu requested my services. As for you, Miss Shenyun, I presume you must be looking to settle in the city?
I must say, the name Shenyun sounds exceedingly strange coming from you. Perhaps you could dispense of that particular epithet in further conversation.
Whatever for. Am I not addressing you as a friend should?
Well, that is true, but... Alas, refer to me however you will. After all, a name exists such that others may address you with it. One is hardly ignorant of that fact.
It would seem that you have gained many valuable insights over the years, Cloud Retainer.
One has indeed. One's previous days were all brief. Now that one has made up one's mind to move and settle, one has gained a much better appreciation of the hubbub and commotion of the city, as well as the people's hard work and ardor. This city is much changed from how it was more than 1,000 years ago.
Not unlike the ocean tides, so too shall the movement of people ebb and flow. From turmoil to peace, enlightenment to aspiration. Human society possesses limitless potential. In another 1,000 years, the scene we witness here may change in ways that are impossible for either of us to imagine.
Alright, that's enough reflection for one day. No need to get all sentimental on us.
You make a valid point, Paimon. Now that the sale has concluded, what say one plays the host as we try some
Perhaps you have forgotten, Cloud Retainer, but I once tried my hand at that dish.
Oh? What occasion was this?
It was a reunion between friends several centuries ago. Alas, you must have been too preoccupied to secure yourself a portion.
Huh! Hardly. 'Twas most certainly out of consideration for the others in attendance. It is settled then. Bamboo shoot soup, mora meat, crab roe tofu, triple-layered consommé. We shall enjoy. One has already passed word to Shenhe and Ganyu to make a reservation. It is prime time for them to meet one's newest disciple.
It should be a most splendid occasion.
Shu Yu, come now, it is time to dine. Ah, this gentleman over here is Mr. Zhongli. He is,
A humble employee of Wangsheng Funeral Parlor. Pleased to make your acquaintance.
Nice to meet you too, Mr. Zhongli.
That should be everyone, right? Let's go!
Sounds good. Actually, Master, have you ever tried Adeptus' temptation? I heard it's impossible to stop eating after even just one bite. You know, 'cause it's super tempting and stuff. Is that true?
That sounds rather implausible. Although with the right preparation, certain dishes can be too delicious to resist.
Huh?